elections are over. At the federal level, President Muhammadu Buhari remains in the saddle, of course with a new mandate. At the state level, some have received fresh mandates to continue, and in some instances, there are new men on the block.
For effective governance, governments at all levels need funding, and of course, a large chunk of such funds comes from taxation. It is quite unfortunate that during the campaigns, the men and women seeking our votes did not take this into consideration, perhaps because they didn't want to scare voters.
Now that the campaigns are over, now that the elections have been won and lost, the reality stares everybody in the face. Money, money, money. At a recent gathering, the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Engineer Mansur Ahmed, while recognizing the important role of taxes as a source of funding for government activities, made an appeal.
We want to strongly advise that government should widen the tax net rather than increase the tax burden, especially at the present time when manufacturers and the other critical actors of the economy are indeed struggling to grow their businesses and therefore to grow the economy as a whole.
How do we generate enough income to finance government expenditure without increasing the number of taxes? How do we expand the tax base rather than the number or even the rate of taxes? That is what today's episode of Tax Matters is all about.
Tax Matters crew went onto the streets to hear from the taxpayers themselves. What do we want to know? Do you pay taxes? Which taxes are well known or popular? How can we get more people to pay or at least be willing to pay? That is, expanding the tax base. And then, would you be willing to pay higher taxes? We will also be taking excerpts from presentations made at different fora by tax experts. The program is Tax Matters, and I am Pearl Naimaka.
And I'm Chiamaka Ohaochi.
In 2018, a total of 5.320 trillion naira was collected as taxes by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. This is the highest ever collected as federal taxes in Nigeria. Taxes have become an important source of revenue, enabling the government to provide greater infrastructural developments in our country. Tax revenues enable government to provide more roads, more railways, more bridges, more housing, more schools, more students in schools, more hospitals, more security, and generate more power. Because Nigeria deserves more. Only your taxes can make all our dreams come true. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. It pays to pay your tax.
Do you pay taxes?
Yes, I pay tax. I pay what they call payee, pay as you earn. They return tax at source from my salary. I do pay tax.
Okay, apart from payee, which other taxes do you pay?
No fat other tax. When I buy something, I pay tax on it too. For taxable items, I pay tax on it.
Do you think enough people are paying taxes?
No, we have not imbibed the culture of paying enough taxes in Nigeria, or let me say developing countries. So we have not have that culture of paying taxes. So according to some studies that are done in the past, 50% of people that are supposed to be paying tax are paying tax.
I pay in respect of pay as you earn, payee, known as payee.
Apart from payee, is there any other tax you pay or you're aware of?
I pay the water tax, the electricity tax. I don't know whether it is part of the tax you are asking for.
All right, do you think enough people are paying tax?
I don't think so, because the informal sector are not being dragged into the tax nets, and they are more than the people in the informal sector. So if they are brought to the tax nets, the number of people that are paying taxes will be more higher. That's the way I believe it.
Do you pay taxes?
Yes, I do pay tax. It's being deducted from my salary every month.
Apart from the ones being deducted, is there any other type of tax you're aware of or you do pay?
Of course, almost every citizen of Nigeria pay tax in other ways like transportation. You pay taxes indirectly.
Now, do you think enough people are paying taxes?
As far as I'm concerned, with the way things are going, I think enough people are paying taxes. Whether you're working or not, you pay your tax one way or the other.
Do you pay taxes?
Of course we do. It is mandatory.
What taxes do you pay?
Well, I pay for my salary, that's a pay, and then or when you buy anything, you have to pay VAT, which is also compulsory.
Do you think that enough people are paying taxes?
Well, directly or indirectly, people are paying taxes. So the numerical figures I may not have, but from what we have, many people are paying tax.
Do you pay tax?
Yeah, I do.
What taxes do you pay?
VAT when I get stuffs and also pay.
That's deducted from your salary. Okay. So, do you think enough people are paying taxes?
No.
Do you think enough people are paying taxes?
Well, I wouldn't know. We don't have the culture here, so possibly people don't pay because there are no stringent penalties that will make people to wanting to pay. But I think with programs like this and enough awareness, people will see the need for them to pay because without paying tax or taxes, good roads that we see today, we won't be able to enjoy it. There won't be all the amenities that we expect the government to do for us to be in place. So I think people enough don't pay tax.
Do you pay taxes?
Yes, I do. As I do, I pay my taxes. I pay my personal income tax, and then so most of those that we do business with, we pay the VAT or withholding depending on whichever way the transaction is going at every point in time. So we do, and then in every other way we do pay taxes. Like when you go and buy something at Eatery, they'll deduct the VAT from so a lot of taxes are paid by me. So I pay tax. I pay my tax. Yeah.
Now, do you think enough people pay taxes?
Yeah, before I used to think more people pay taxes because I know there's a lot of sensitization on it. There's a lot of adverts, jingles, and all that, even in BRT buses. So but recently I saw the statistics and I was surprised that about 800,000 people or so pay taxes in Lagos out of the mass population we have, and I was like really surprised that when I saw that statistic, before then I was thinking that with the advert and order that the state government has been doing on it, that by now most people will be in bad bracket. But when I saw that statistics clearly, I was like, wow, then there are a lot of people that were not yet in the tax bracket. Yeah.
Do you think that enough people are paying taxes?
In this country, yes. Both the working and those that are not working. No.
Do you pay taxes?
Of course I do.
Okay, what type of taxes do you pay?
Payee is deducted from my salary before the money is paid to my account.
Okay. Do you think that enough people are paying their taxes?
Well, I won't say yes because from what I have known over time, it appears as if many Nigerians are still yet to key into the reality of paying taxes. But I think we are doing better now than what it used to be done in the past.
Do you pay taxes?
Oh, sure. As a company, we pay tax, and of course, on my income, I also pay tax. So,
okay. What type of taxes do you pay?
It's company tax, of course. Okay. Yes. Some of our staff too, we make sure that they pay tax from their salaries. So, yes.
Do you think that enough people are paying taxes?
Well, in fairness, if you look at it, it's not everybody that is paying tax. And I think it is better if everybody can pay their taxes such that government would have enough fund to build infrastructures and cater for some of the citizens' needs. It is better if everybody can pay their taxes so that government will have enough fund or fundings to pay or to build more infrastructures that is needed in the state.
What do you think the tax authorities should do to be able to get more people to pay?
I think by making the environment conducive for them, where they sell, where they trade, the artisans, where they operate, the less force will be involved in dragging them to the tax net, because they will be willing to pay when they enjoy the infrastructural facilities that will make the environment where they operate enabling.
I think they need to do more awareness. People are not really so aware about the kind of tax they need to pay. People need to use the media the more. People need to do a whole lot of television programs that will enable people to see the need for them to pay taxes. People don't really see the need and the value of taxes because they are not so aware of the things, the money they are paying to the government will do for them. Government needs to go to the grassroots. They need to educate them. They need to do adverts in our indigenous languages, which will make people to actually understand the need for them to pay taxes.
I know there's a lot of adverts, so at what they can do probably on one sensitization, on not just paying. Now everybody knows that yeah, there's a need to pay. Everybody knows what taxes are used for, but now is on what to pay, when to pay, where to pay, and how to pay. Then actually there should be more of one-on-one sensitization. So people know about it in general, but okay, I'm a trader. How much am I to pay as tax?
Campaign, enlightenment, that is education, to reach people to paying tax. They should enlighten people, they should educate people, and they should do more on the what they use tax to do. If people see what they use their tax for, people will pay tax.
A lot of people would run away because they know that, oh, they have tax overhead coming from way back, and if government should come after them to say, okay, you must pay everything, then they will run away. They would continue to evade tax. You understand? So what the state should do is create a kind of soft landing for people who are willing to pay their taxes. Come, let us sit down together, let us reason together, let us negotiate and see how we can make the issue of tax payment easy for you and of course for the state government.
Give people job, employ people. You pay tax when you are earning income. Somebody that is not earning income cannot pay tax. And we have so many people that are not doing anything, so many graduates that are not employed. People are looking, even graduates are looking for job of school cert. If you give them that job of school cert, they will still be willing to pay tax, even though that job is not commensurating to their qualification. So the only thing you can do for people to pay more tax is to provide job for them.
I think there is need for more enlightenment campaign, and and reaching out to different set of groups. I mean, when I say groups, I mean pressure groups, associations, and also try to drive some of this campaign in local dialect that people are conversant with. By doing this, people will really know it, because some still don't understand the basis for doing it. And it's also important that when projects are carried out, that is, I mean, infrastructural projects are carried out by government, it is important to let people understand that some of these things are being done by the virtue of the taxes that they are paying. When they do this, people will be convinced that indeed there is essence for the payment of taxes.
Are you worried that one or two of the respondents spoke about water tax, transport tax, and electricity tax?
Yeah, got me worried, but I think it has its origin in the past when water, electricity and transportation were provided by government agencies. And when government is involved in anything and money has to be paid, it is regarded as tax.
And of course also, maybe because those services are considered social services. Let's move on.
Now, as a taxpayer, you pay your tax. Would you be willing to pay more?
Like I said earlier, if the government do more, the life is full of give and take. If government give more, I would prefer to pay more tax, because if I see the value for the money I'm paying, no one needs to tell me that I need to pay my tax.
If I'm well informed and aware of those taxes, why wouldn't I want to pay? It's useful for us, it's for our development, so I'll be willing to pay.
Are you happy paying tax?
I'm happy because it's obligation. It's compulsory. You have to pay tax.
Will you be willing to pay more taxes?
Why would you want me to pay more tax? Why would you want me to pay more tax? I pay tax based, if you promote me, if you increase my income, it's automatic. The percentage is there. You don't. The issue of willingness is not there. Whether I'm willing or not, as soon as the salary hit my account, that money will move out.
So would you like to pay more taxes?
Yeah, of course. I think it's important to pay our tax. So,
Willing to pay more. That is like, except if I have more source of income, then I'll be willing to pay more.
I'm ready to pay more tax for as long as I see the benefit. I mean, the outcome of the taxes that I'm paying. I'm willing to pay more tax, but it becomes it dampens mind when after everything you still go around, you find potholes on the road, electricity still remain epileptic, water supplies nowhere to be found, and all of that. You become discouraged.
Nobody wants to pay more taxes. I told you I'm paying enough already. I'm paying personal income. I'm paying VAT. I'm paying, sometimes we told our tax, they say you're withholding tax. I'm doing all that. Merriment, we are paying. This one, I'm paying land use. I'm paying, who wants to pay more? In fact, they can reduce it for, I feel for businesses that are growing like ours, one of the things I'm suggesting is that they can even reduce the taxes we are paying. Probably for any business owner, first 5 years, tax free. So that the business can grow.
Now, will you be willing to pay more?
I haven't been paying. I don't think I'll be willing to pay more. At least I know there is dividend for my tax being paid. I could see the numerous things that the government are doing. So I think the tax money is at work. So I don't think I'll be willing to pay more. At least they deduct from my salary. That's okay for now.
So are you satisfied with the level of this infrastructural development you see?
Yeah, to some extent I'm satisfied, but they can do more. But that depends on the taxpayers' money too as well. So we should just be considerate, both work and hand in hand. So I think if more hands or more people are paying their taxes, government will do so many social infrastructural facilities that will benefit all.
Will you be happy or will you be willing to pay more?
From what I've said, I'm not willing to pay more until our government is providing what the citizen needs for them. It will encourage people to pay. Even those people that they have not paid, it will encourage them if they can see what they are paying for physically. But what they are paying for, they are really enjoying, they are really deriving from the government. But this is what governments are using our money to do. But if there's nothing like that, I don't think it will encourage people to pay.
Would you like the idea of paying more taxes?
No.
To be honest, I wouldn't. But who wants to really?
Mixed bag there.
Different strokes for different folks. Now to the experts. Mr. Ikpaye was at one time the special advisor on revenue matters to the governor of Lagos State and went on to become the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Lagos State. Mr. Ikpaye is currently Chief of Staff in the Office of the Vice President.
Unless you control corruption, a lot of the income is not coming through the recognized proper channel. Okay, so it's not in the books. It's under the table or off the account books. So the issue of taxing it doesn't even arise. And that is where you can say big men get away with a lot of income on which they pay no tax. So the question is to try hard to formalize businesses as much as possible. This policy of cashless policy, I think we went back on it a bit. We stepped back because we should advance it. If you make the cashless policy work to start with, then it means virtually all payments are on record. And gradually the taxman can begin to claw back or get into what is going on. But if you have a lot of cash moving around, then, payment of income tax assumes that you will have returns, that you will have records, but those things don't exist, okay? So that is why I say that there is so much room for improvement, even given the level of tax rates that we have now. If we begin to monitor, ensure or enforce declarations of incomes and profits, and then we need to do something about identity. What is making things work in other advanced countries is that everybody is known. Here, you are unknown. A lot of people are unknown. But we have a golden opportunity. We are now doing the BVN. Almost all of us have bank accounts. We have BVN numbers. Okay? We are also engaged on an effort now whereby all the agencies that collect identity information are coming together so that we can quickly grow the national database and everybody is known. For instance, immigrations get all our information for purposes of passport. FRSC gets all our information for the purposes of driver's license. INEC gets our information for the purposes of voters register, and so on. So all of these agencies are now in a committee working together. FIRS gets our information, taxpayer identification number, and so on. So if they all come together and we begin to have a database that recognizes every Nigerian, and we have a BVN that recognizes all its financial transactions, I think those things will encourage voluntary declaration. But when you know that you are unknown to anyone and your transactions are unknown to anyone, there is no motivation to do voluntary declaration or pay tax. So I think that is where we must go if we want to improve the system.
In recent time, it has been canvassed that more revenue could accrue to government coffers from an increase in the current rate of VAT. In Nigeria, the current rate of VAT is 5%, even as some have countered the argument by asking the collecting authority to work harder at collecting all collectibles rather than increasing the rates. Mr. Yomi Olubenro is a chartered accountant and a tax practitioner.
I actually will advocate for possible VAT increase for a number of reasons, but with certain conditions. So currently our VAT to GDP is 0.8%. The average for West Africa is 3.4%. So it is very low. Now, but it's also low because our own VAT system is slightly different from the normal VAT. It has very limited input VAT claim, for example. So you can only claim on items meant for resale or capital item. All the other VAT is charged as expense and increase your OPEX. Now, when we compare 5% to 12.5 or 15%, we also need to factor in the limitation of the input VAT scheme. So if we're considering a raise, which I support, and the reason for supporting that is that I think it's a more administratively convenient tax to collect. It is tied to consumption, therefore it is easy to avoid or evade or run away from. And there are fewer people than direct taxes that government need to chase to be able to collect that tax. Everybody, any income is supposed to pay personal income tax, but the capacity to chase 50 million or 70 million potential income earning people is limited. If you focus on those who are selling the companies, okay, and maybe introduce a threshold so that the MSMEs that are really very small are not bogged down by that, you can actually concentrate your effort in collecting from the few that will be visible and who can run away quite easily. Now, but if you're going to do that, my own model will have been to be complemented with a lowering of the direct taxes. You know, because if you lower direct taxes, maybe company income tax or personal income tax, you increase disposable income, and therefore the household have a lot more money at their disposal to be able to reflate the economy and keep things going. Whatever amount you are losing from the direct taxes is complemented by the amount you may be getting from a more difficult to evade indirect taxes.
There you are. What are your own views? You can reach us on Twitter, on Facebook, by email, or by text message. You can also call in. And to Mr. President and the governors, it's a new beginning. You have heard what the people want: more enlightenment, more education, more sensitization with regard to their duties, their rights, and their responsibilities under the various tax laws. And of course, provision of amenities which they all agree will serve as encouragement. See you next week on this program, same station, same day of the week, same time of the day.
Bye for now.